Well, hello everyone. JWoW of Planet JWoW here. Thank you so much for coming, for showing up today. It is talk about living what I'm teaching. I was not able to be here yesterday. Literally, was unable to be so because as a multiple and as an someone who presents as a high functioning autistic person, a whole bunch of us came forward and went into crisis all at once for hours. And by the time we came out of that, we didn't not even we were incapable of even realizing that we had missed teaching the class. And I'm sharing that with you because so often folks who are guardians or leaders aren't willing to feel the safety that they are generating for other people. And this is class 4 of being and feeling safe, really experiencing the safety. All right. And so I was able to feel safe, be safe, actually show up for myself because I've taken the time to put in structures so that we can be in our freedom, so that we can have the times that are difficult. So I apologize to those of you who wanted to watch this live yesterday, made arrangements to do so, and I was not there. And I can count on one hand minus fingers the number of times that has happened to me. And I want to step into a space where I get to say, that happened, that's true. There's no stigmatizing. There's no loss of safety. Nothing is absolute. Very few things in the world are absolute. I will always do my best to show up, and I will always speak my truth. The thing that they call white lies, I don't do it. So I had a horrific and horrible time. I am blessed to have structures that hold me when times are difficult. And because of what I've established with what I establish as part of how I am in the world, I get to be truthful about how I live the things that I'm sharing and teaching. This safety of which I speak is not simply the external safety that we create for people. It's also the safety that we create for ourselves internally. What is it that we need to do in order to be living into the very safety that we would create for others? Sometimes we learn how to create safety by working with ourselves. Sometimes we learn how to create safety by working on others and then applying it back to ourselves. And sometimes we do both. I started out mostly doing good things for other people because I hated myself and I hated people in general, and I knew what good behaviors needed to be. So I did the good behaviors, and then I came to understand why that was good for other people. And then I came to understand how that might be good for me. And then I started having it be good for me and working with myself as I had worked with others, and then got to the point now where I work with myself and others. It got, I did the or and thing, the progression. I did the but, or, and progression. And now that's simply an isness. We have covered in these classes, we have gone safety, sovereign awareness, from, everyone. Thank you. Sovereignty. Sovereignty comes when you go from that existential survival, from exit state to exist, which is at the core, obviously, of an existential event. Hi, Linda. Then there's that contiguous existence is survival. Contiguous survival is, repeat with me, follow the bouncing ball. Contiguous survival is safety. which is where we're starting. We're starting at safety. We're not starting at survival. If you're on this listening to me, you have some sort of device for watching things, or you're in front of me. That means that somehow you are safe, because you would not be watching something about safety if you were on the run for your life and were doing the survival thing. So this is absolutely me here confirming, hey, you're safe because you're watching me, because you're able to be with me. And it's these little moments that we are taught to miss so that we don't actually feed ourselves with our own lives. When we feed ourselves with the wonder and splendor of our own lives, of our success at whatever level we are, instead of doing that aching thing for the thing that we don't have yet. I ache to feel secure. You're safe now. Enjoy the safety, because enjoyment is the glue of contiguity if we choose for it to be. And contiguous safety is how we get to security. And then there's how we get to sovereignty. That's why there are classes in this safety thing. I want the whole world to get that safety is our foundational place for moving into our next culture, out of a culture of consent and into a culture of welcome. Those of you who are here, you don't know it yet. You are heralds and ushers of a new kind of safety, because it's a safety for whole humans. It's a safety for humans who are looking at their multivinity and saying, hey, want to dance? This is fun. There's a thing called fun safety. There's a thing called when you trust that safety, by my definition, if you're playing with me, we're on Planet JWoW full on today, folks. Hi, welcome to Planet JWoW. We'll be cruising at approximately 3 billion feet. Please fasten your seatbelts. We get to be in our multivinity. We get to be with our multivinity as something that dances with it, so that we're able to create safety everywhere that we go, whether it's in a shared dimension or someone else's. In so many directions, I hope you work on the sovereign awareness for everyone. Oh yeah, exist and protect and thrive. I do want to feel that gratitude too. Yep. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know who you are. It doesn't say Facebook user, and thank you very much. And yes, I am. I have classes in this. I'm about to re-announce my class. That's the next level of the safety. There's a paid class for that. Okay. I'm here. These are my free videos. This is my 4th video on safety, and they will be available forever for free for people who do not have the currency that I need at this time, which is money. And so they're not able to invest in themselves with money and or access and or skill sets and or time. Because I live in a reciprocal economy where all currencies of power are accepted that I can figure out. It's Maya. My goodness. I'm so delighted. I hope you're doing well. Yay. Honored that you're here, Maya. Thank you. The sovereignty piece. If you don't understand the sovereignty, if you don't understand safety, then you can't get to security. And security, second chakra. All right, you're talking about the safety thing, where we're talking about the root chakra that's in us, the thing out of our existence. Okay, that thing, that deep thing, literally at your crotch up, that's your root. When you're working with the what I call, for the ones who are not doing it well, the sisterhood and brotherhood of the yoga pants. Okay, they're doing all the moves, they've got all the things, and they're not delving into the very safety that makes possible the realm in which they are playing at that security level, at that erotic level, at that level where pleasure and presence come together in ways where pleasure gets to be the realm in which we play with our energetics, figuring out how to have security, how to have beauty in our lives out of safety. That's ISTA. I really want ISTA to let me build an erotic safety course for them, or rather just go ahead and build it out, since I've already got it pretty much on a board already. I just want to have a place to bring it. So if y'all know ISTA, this is how I'm going to do it. Y'all are becoming my tribe, my global tribe. I'm calling a global tribe using technology. I'm doing the thing that they say that you can do on Facebook, and people do to some extent. I want to build the root of a culture, a global culture of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, We get to build safety everywhere together, sweet ones. This is literally a call to action for using the safety that we're learning. I would love for you to invest in yourselves and come play with me as we dive deeply into what are the tools that let us build the structures that make it possible for freedom to be safe, to explore wherever we are, internally or externally, and externally, because the progression is or and for the most part. There's some and or. So and that's the one that everybody knows. So I'll go with that. We mean it something differently here on Planet JWoW. It's more robust. One of the first tools of safety is clearing our honesty and clearing our sovereignty. You can have sovereignty that you clear in a moment. I didn't say declare, I said clear. I'm not going to make something less that I want to have happen. You can clear and claim your sovereignty, your capacity to build bridges. Sovereignty comes with it options for building bridges. And the caliber of those bridges is rooted in the safety of those bridges is literally rooted in the dust that is used to make the structures that are that bridge. The caliber of the dust with which we make our bricks affects the strength of the bridges we get to build. Hillary Lake was there when that phrase came through. This is what you will get. You can count on things. And when you can count on things, we get to feel safe. And we tend to count on things that feel sovereign and therefore stable. Sovereign and therefore stable, because sovereigns have de facto, by definition, the capacity and the power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our isness. They have the power and capacity to be able to clear a reality for someone else, to be able to say, this will be what your safety looks like. This is what my safety looks like. You like that? This is what your safety looks like. So in any situation, if you are at a gathering, this is a tool. If you're at a gathering, find the spaces where you are comfortable with what your innate skill set already is, where you do feel sovereign. That's one way for all of us to discover what a new sovereignty rooted in what we do well and those things in which we delight is based. When it feels good to do good, you do more good. That gets to be our reality. We get to build that out that way. We get to. And I have an experimental place for doing that where we can tweak it so that it's inclusionary, so that it's welcoming, so that it's empowering for selves and others. It's called Planet JWoW. And it turns out that out in the world, in the notness of Planet JWoW, there are a ton of people building this out, not necessarily having the languaging for what they're doing. That's part of what we're sharing, is having the shared languaging when we're doing the same thing. You know, it's a little different. Theirs may be blue, mine is purple. Theirs may have 3 lobes, mine have 2 lobes. Right there at the core where the Mojicin is, in the center of the limnoscates of our engagement. This kind of complexity that I'm speaking is part of how you are able to build the skill set that can build real sustainable safety. This is not about being simplistic, as in making something, rendering something irrelevant by making it so simple that it no longer applies to the situation that it was there to heal. Being willing to stand beside and in guidelines at a gathering that clear and claim safety for everyone there, crew and participants. To be willing to go over that, to have part of a gathering before you even get there being not that you know scroll to the bottom of the thing and check that you read it, that there's a way for people to, if nothing else, they put their initials next to the guidelines so that even if they don't read them and all they do is go down with the initials, they at least have it in their visual spectra that they saw it. So that it goes in at some fundamental level, dust of bricks, of bridges. We get to hold all of that magic as real and true when we build safety beyond the typical safeties created by the ethical dangerous ones, where we only think about what physical safety there is. Because if we were to think deeply and feel deeply and take action in our energetic realms first, it makes it so much easier for working on the physical realms, because we've already done rooting into the goodness that we want built into the safety, so that it's nourished as it becomes security. That gets us on the road to sovereignty. The thing between our sovereignty and being able to do the safety thing is feeling secure in something. So let's, as a technique, feel secure in simply looking around. The next time you're at a conference, the next time you're at a gathering, the next time you're with your family, the next time you're in your relationship, take a moment and go, you know what? I'm going to take a moment and savor me enough to feel into what would I love to do that I'm good at right now. And then have that be the arena, not so much that you do the thing as you say, what's the notness of me in my bliss, in my power? That's where the danger lies, folks. It's not that it's hard to see it. I imagine horrific things all the time. So when I walk into the space, I mean, I literally raised my hand at a peace and love hippie gathering for the 90 millionth time, and raised my hand at yet and still another gathering and said, what are your policies and what do you have in place for people who get molested and raped? What happens when rape happens here? I've got it so that then we have it not happen. That's what we get to do. That's what we get to live into. And instead of me being prescient in some way, I'm clinically paranoid, and I'm accustomed to composting it into functional hypervigilance. That's all. It's a good thing. My clinical paranoia gets to be a good thing for a tribe that I'm entering. Yay! I get to help make safety. Yay! And because I'm aligned with whatever culture, the culture into which I'm stepping, I can then use my capacity to have an agile paranoia, take a look at what would be the energetics of this space that could be, I don't know, a not good for what we're aligned, how we're aligning together, which is why, folks, here, I've got a course that's coming after the safety course called Roots Valuation. And you literally wind up generating for yourself, your family, your tribe, your organization, your company, your corporation. It doesn't matter, whether it's you alone or you with folks, knowing what your roots are so that you can know what the notness is of your bliss, so that you can be in your bliss as much as possible, so that you're in your sovereignty with delight as much as possible. Let's define safety in such a way that security becomes possible as the next step. And it's what gets built into security is a feeling of not only the contiguity of safety. If what's built into the security, let's throw in some cinnamon. Let's throw in the cinnamon of, I don't know, goodness. Oh, and maybe we'll throw in a little nutmeg too of greatness. Oh, let's get some great success security pudding. Let's do that. Because there's a thing to do with the safety that you have when you have it. It's not simply something to have and simply get to the safety in a moment. When safety is being laid down in a way where it's laying a path for security, that's when we start getting into sustainability. This is partly a boots on the ground bog conversation and partly a meta conversation, sort of like meta bog, okay? Or bog meta conversation. These are the considerations that I have so that I make choices so that people feel safe around me. Literally, A sweet one wrote here, you are safety. Honored by that. And yes, I can figure out what it needs to feel like. I may not have the mechanics. There is not a way to not find safety for me, us, because even if it's hopeless on the physical realm, on some other realm, it is not. On some other realm, there is something to do. There is something to, because when you have a longer arc view beyond immediate shared dimensional circumstances, there are end runs and other places where you can do things that affect where you are. You don't have to believe in it. I've got it documented on video. I've got it documented on video, me doing that stuff. So this is what I love about technology. I say all this hyperbolic stuff because it's not hyperbolic. It's my life and I'm living it. And now I'm living it in public. So it's on the tech thing. So we get to witness what it is, the raw matter, the prima materia that we need for figuring out what our individuated safety nets are that we're weaving. Come find your version of what's happening here and then weave that for yourself. If I want to get, I want to offer the opportunity to live into the safety word equation, sovereign awareness for, from, everyone. Thank you. And the way to do that is to take it as literal instructions. Be in your sovereignty. Out of your sovereignty, instead of doing the alertness of security, do the awareness. There's paranoia at safety. There's alertness at security. There's awareness at sovereignty. Go ahead and live into being willing to trust that you are so safe and so secure that you can actually be in your sovereignty and only be aware of the things that need to happen at the border so that you can have an ongoing normalization and meta conversation about the environment in which you're existing, so that you can be inside of it in a way where you actually get to bring your goodness and greatness and delight and revel in that with others and have that be part of feeling safe. Let's build the yum-yums that so often are simply out of sovereignty into the safety so that they get to grow. They get to be even bigger for those sovereigns who come afterwards. Oh, yay, let's plant the garden. Let's plant the garden of success together so that we can enjoy it even as we plant it for the future. Let's do that. Wouldn't it be lovely if in this structure of safety, sovereign awareness for, from, everyone, thank you. Once again, sovereign awareness for, from, everyone, thank you. The sovereignty part that now we know comes in a sequence that we can grow into. There's the sovereignty part, and then there's the awareness part that we know is one of the perks, the num-nums of having gotten to sovereignty to the point where we don't have to be alert or paranoid. And then for, from, everyone, well, yay, there's folks that want to come play with us and do this together. And if they also have these same awarenesses of how to use power well and lovingly, how to create safety out of this equation, their version of this equation, where we, out of the truth, transparency, and trust that come with the T of tribe and so much else, because it's also a business, when we get to have all of that come together, when we have this kind of languaging, I've lived where folks are speaking this languaging for days at a time. The world is very different for us. We're calibrated to power. We're calibrated to, this is safe because I say so. We get to calibrate ourselves to that without stepping on anyone's sovereignty. Do we all agree? Everyone here agree that we want safety? Great. Is this the kind of safety we want? Great. I would like to raise my hand and say that that's a kind of safety that I can make happen. Would anyone like to help me make that happen? Great. You have a version. Oh, I really like yours. Let us know what we're calibrating to, and we'll all do our versions and they'll all come together and we'll see what happens. Yay! Bake 2 cakes, and actually bake 24 cakes. Please, we're 24 over here. Let's create safety for everybody. By normalizing myself in the world, I keep opening doors for other folks. Sometimes safety looks like permission. Sometimes safety looks like opening the doors for others. Sometimes it looks like Glennon Boyle. Glenn Doyle, opening the door for not white women. Just opening the door. It's like my damn door. Okay, and I'm opening it, and they can come through. And if you don't like who I bring in and don't like my door, then I'm not your chick. And bye. Badass, right? Yeah, I'm doing my version of that. She's doing her version of me or something. We're all doing our versions of each other, where for me, inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, empower-ment, MEANT. If that's what you're living into, I would like to hear how you're playing. If it turns out that we have enough points where we come together in alignment, and one way to find that out is to know what your roots values are so that you can know what those points are. If you're guessing, it's harder to know whether or not you're in alignment if you don't know what the pieces are. Just like if you don't know where you're heading and you don't know where you are, then having a map is useless. If you don't know where you're headed and you don't know where you are, a map is useless. A compass is useful. A map is useless. Actually, that's not true. Because if you have the compass and you have the map, then you can generate safety out of that moment by going, okay, I just passed a thing that looks like this on the map. And then because I'm oriented with the map, it looks like this would happen to the right. And it just did. Okay, this is where we are. Now we know the map is useful. So now let's look ahead and see where the map takes us. Okay, it takes us through this. That actually looks like a good place to be. Okay. So timing and data help us know what safety can be, even when we have tools that we don't know how to use yet. That map was not useful until we had some way of discovering whether or not it was applicable to us. So someone's sitting in front of you and they just had a terrible thing happen. Sovereign awareness from everyone. Thank you. They're not feeling empowered at all. Safety is. Sovereign awareness from everyone. Thank you. The sovereign part, that's the power part. In order to be a sovereign, you have to have power. Power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our isness. And that's what a sovereign does. A sovereign creates security for themselves and other. That's the definition for me, us, of a sovereign. If you have the capacity and the power to create security, just simply generate it for yourself and other, that's a sovereign act. Whether you recognize it as such or not, right? Just because you don't have all the diamonds and the gold crown and the expensive shoes doesn't make you not a sovereign. You can do sovereign acts all the time. You can innovate yourself into an evolution into becoming sovereign simply by taking care of self and others at every turn that you possibly can. And when you get in the habit and the praxis of doing that, that's when we start generating sustainable safety, because safety starts becoming a fun thing to do. Somewhere in there, I ought to put fun in the middle of safety, because I got to tell you, I wouldn't still be creating the safety that I create at the level that I'm creating it. Now I'm creating it for hundreds of thousands and soon to be millions of people. I get to do that because I'm having fun. I'm having fun telling the things that aren't aligned. Hey, this is not your spot. I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying you're not here. You get to be not here. Because it doesn't work it's not in alignment with what we're doing. Find another thing. I'm sure that there are people over here who've been waiting for somebody like you to come along and make your thing, and they will leave me in a heartbeat as soon as you build it. Go. I would love to send them to you. I would love to build a bridge so that they can get to you. And your folks who can't handle being with you, that get to be with over here, I almost said belong. That gets to happen. These are actual tools for building safety, folks. Sovereignty is a tool. Awareness is a tool. The willingness to penetrate and receive, to have an interchange that is flow. It takes science and skill to build flow in both directions in a way where commingling can happen for, inside that limnoscape where the Mojicin happens for both. All of that gets to happen. That's an art and a science. That's part of what y'all will be studying with me, those of you who come over to the safety class. I've almost finished, because of yesterday's episode, I've almost finished the site, and I will finish that today and have that up for y'all tomorrow. We get to do this. We actually get to do this. It may sound like a fairy tale. It may sound like a game. Oh, wait a minute. It is a game. I'm playing a game of safety. I'm playing a game of safety. When something feels good to do good, you do more good. When it feels good to do good, you do more good. So if you can feel good about building safety, then you are inclined to build more safety. All of these complex pieces fit together in a plan for a net that holds a safety structure that allows us to have a sense of freedom. When I say structure begets freedom, when the structure is well built enough, it's way out so that you have a sense of openness while still knowing that all of the stuff that's the knotness of what you want to tangle with is being kept out. That gets to be true. And we get to build that together. There's one of me, and I'm teaching beloveds, the ones who want to learn about safety and teaching what it is that we're about to dive into in the course. The course starts on May 24th, and it goes 4 consecutive weeks. We'll build that out. You'll have tools for building safety that are rooted in the considerations that you've learned in these 4. For those of you who don't simply come into the course cold, for those of you who watch these 4 videos first, you will have a completely different calibrated set of considerations when we're talking about them in class, because you will have done a lot of this work for getting yourself already revved up for, yep, I know I'm in for this ride. I'm going to build something that I can actually live into in 4 short weeks, not years. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to share vest with the world. I'm going to gift vest in the augmentor who's setting this up so that I can do that. And you get to have all of the reveling in being given to and in the giving to. I let y'all know what you get from me by paying me. My marketing is come feel delighted about being able to pay me. Go you, thank you. That's my marketing. I want you to come play with me. Come play with me. If you don't want to come play with me, don't pay me. Don't play with me. Don't pay with me. Don't pay me. Don't play with me. If you want to come play with me and get super, powered while you have fun, then come play with me about anything, about the hard stuff, about grief. I'm the one who wants to throw I would very much love for my 65th, which is in 3 years, birthday party to be, let's put the fun back in funeral. All the stuff that I'm going to say about me after I'm dead, I'd like for you to say it now while I'm sitting in the front row, and I want Kleenex to sponsor it. I'm going to sit there and bawl my eyes out while you say all those wonderful things about all the cool things that I've done, and I'm going to nod my head and revel in it. I want to be that. I want that to happen. I want us to delight in all of the axes and spectra of our existence, and that's not going to happen until we figure out what global safety looks like. And global safety doesn't get built until you get tribal safety. And tribal safety doesn't get built until you've got communities that learn what safety means for their alignedness. And you don't get that until you have people who understand what it means to be in relationships that are safe. And you don't get that until you have people who understand what it's going to take for them to feel safe on their own. So this is the dust. This is the high caliber dust of the bricks that build the bridges to global safety. That's why it's important. Need a good enough why, sweet ones. This is a good why, right? And it's not meta thought. Let yourself resonate with it. To feel that call that you don't understand to a new kind of safety that isn't just, this is a clinical thing that and make sure that you set up your parameters and your perimeters and you put off. Okay, this is not simply that. It's partly that. We're going to talk about things like that in the course too. That'll happen later. Right now, in this moment, what you walk away from out of this work right here, right now, is knowing if the only thing you get is that somewhere there's safety that I can be accountable for helping create. And you simply know that as your existence. Please read Zero Limits by Joe Vitale. Joe Vitale is not he's a misogynistic, entitled brat that spirit flows brilliant things through. I'd love to talk with him, right? I'd love to work with him to be more, inclusionary in his languaging. And that'll make what he says not be brilliant, right? Sifting babies from the bathwater, read Zero Limits. You want to talk about empowerment, and that's that Ho'oponopono stuff. I'm not with the, oh, grovel, I'm sorry. I'm with the thank you and love you. I'm all over that. I've busted my hump to be powerful. I will negotiate with you. I will apologize when I feel I've done something wrong. If I don't feel I've done something wrong, then I'm sorry that you got hurt by something that I did. I'm not going to undo what I did. I stand by what I do, and I stand by what I say. And if I screw up, I stand by that, because I truly believe that at the heart of every mistake are the seeds of a great wake-up call. I live into that. How we create safety is by empowering ourselves. Folks, that's the short version. Except I'm not going to say to you, okay, so we need to memorize the thing and then not tell you what memorization is and not give you any tools for memorizing. I'm going to say it's about empowering ourselves. And I'm going to show you how to empower yourself so we can actually pull this off. Oh, yay. And we're pulling it off together. All right. We've got sovereignty and why that's important, and the steps along the way to learn so that we can get to the sovereignty and actually have power in what it is that we clear and claim for others. When you have truth, transparency, and trust with you, people trust me. They don't know why they trust me sometimes, and they trust me. So I look at somebody and say, I have absolutely no idea of how I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix it to the best of my ability, and right now you're safe here. I need you to be still right here, and I will be back. And then we'll figure out what the next safety is. Can that work? I can't clear and claim safety for you forever. I certainly do it for this little piece right here. I'm at the door. What do I mean by that? In a real life story, 4 hours in a hurricane with a cape with my augmentor and her new protege in her arms, in a tent, in a shelter, in a hurricane. Other people got wet. They didn't. I stood with my back to a hurricane with my arms out in some way, shape, or form for 4 hours so that they would be dry. I just cleared and claimed safety. Just did it. Because that's what you do. That's what I do. I live into this. That's a part. Setting yourself up to live into the thing that you want. Be the change that you want to see. That's actually real. And it sounds noble, and it's not. At the bog level, at the boots on the ground level, that means here's a moment that I don't want. I'm not strong. I'm not an athlete. I don't care. My mentor is going to be safe. I have a magic cape that tells hurricanes they can go to hell. That happened. Witnessed by hundreds of people. I date and timestamp the delight, the legend, the miracle, because my life is made out of inspiring you guys to be great. This safety course, if this is the portal that lets me help you get to your goodness and greatness so that you can do the things that you really want to do, then you have cleared yourself as someone for whom safety is important. Great. I've got food for you for that. When I do the roots valuation thing, that's a part for everybody. If your thing is guardianship and leadership, this is where you start. If you can't guide people and be in the muck and the blood of the thing with them at some level, even if it's only in your mind, you are with them, then they don't need to follow you because you don't get them. On some level, even autistic, in the times when I don't get the human race, I just don't. It's weird. I can feel into what might be good for people that I don't understand that I really like. And so I want them to be happy, and I can think into a happiness. So I do. And then it works. And it's done enough times to where I trust me to think into a good happy with anyone, as long as they're willing to do their work and be accountable for their side of it. Because here's the other side of safety, beloveds. Please do not forget that. You can't make safety for someone. If they're determined to be not safe, they're going to be not safe. They're going to do the stupid. They're going to run to the edge of the electric fence and they're going to stick their wet hand on it. That's going to happen. If they're determined to do the thing, they're going to do the thing. What you can do is clear and claim a safety for the environment in which they exist. You can beget a freedom into safety for them. You can do that part, or safety into freedom for them. And then they're going to figure out what they want to do or not do. You are not accountable for them in that way. You are accountable for them understanding that this is a safe ground and where the edges are. You're accountable for that. Or if you're traveling so there are no edges, these are the guidelines for traveling together. These are our emotional and relationship edges, because there are edges. There are always edges. If you're only looking at a physical level, you're losing it. Body, mind, heart, spirit, energetics. Okay, there's something in there. There are edges somewhere, and honoring those edges. By the way, sacred edge work, seed work with Katrina Cruz. Y'all look it up. Sacred edge. For me, my lady taught me about surrender, because I suck. I have 2 modes. Blaze forward and stop. 3 modes. Blaze forward, crawl forward, and stop. If I'm on my knees, I'm still swinging. That retreat thing, not so good. The surrender thing, yeah, no. So I learned how to do that from someone who could teach me how to do that. Because by understanding what that surrender felt like, I can step into Katrina Cruz, CRUKRUSE. Thank you. Linda, I so appreciate you, all the appreciatings. Thank you. That surrender of my power, you can't surrender unless you know you're powerful. People think that surrender happens for people who are weak. That's not true. People who give up may not understand their power. People who surrender, they know their power. They know what they're giving up. They choose to give it up. It's an agency act. It is in and of itself empowering if you have it be that, particularly when you surrender your power to someone who understands that this is a temporary event. They're holding it while you do a new thing, and then they'll give it back to you as soon as you're ready to get the new places cleaned out. Yay. You move all your valuables when you're mucking out your stables. You move all of your valuables out of the stable to a safe place with someone who's watching over them while you dive in and clean things up, and then you bring the stuff back into a new space. That's a different kind of surrender. That's a mutually empowering surrender for someone who loves holding those spaces, helping you find those things which are beautiful to you, which are exquisite, which are the things that are precious to you, that you want to hold safe. I don't know, like the other people at a gathering where you want everyone to feel safe, and you can clear and claim safety on their behalf in your way. Knowing what surrender looks like lets you know the edge of the safety that you can create. Surrender is on the other side of the discernment line for safety, because you give up the power to generate the safety. So what do you have instead that you're trusting at the center? You get to discover that and then bring the safety back over. There's so many ways on an energetic level to build the safety that we want to see in our physical realm. Be the change that you want to be. So many people are like, what does that mean? There's work to get to the being part. They don't tell you about that part. You can't just like say, oh, well, I'm this. I mean, you can. I have. It's not the way that most people can do. I've also put a lot into learning the physicality pieces that let me do the mental and emotional and spiritual pieces so that it's a robust safety. I've also put in my work. This gets to be a complex event. If you're looking for simple, okay, here are your 4 steps. And then if you do these 4 steps, you will feel safe everywhere. There are people who will give you that, and there are ways of doing that, and they work. And if that's how you need to work in order to free yourself up for other things, that's great. There are those of us who are also working on the collective consciousness and the collective emotionality so that we're weaving the complexity that we need for sustained safety at a global level into that collective consciousness, into that collective emotionality, so that that becomes a normalized reality for more and more people. We get to play that game. I want to play with those folks. I want to play with the sovereigns who would like to energize, manifest, and calibrate safety at every level that's sustainable. I'd love to have that class. Oh, wait, I am. It starts on May 24th. We'll get to do that together. I've got 13 minutes. Whoever's here, if there's something that you, Linda, that's going to be the change you want to see in the world, long form ellipsis with the spaces, and then it'll say capital AND. It also takes work. Okay. And make that an exclamation point, and then find me a meme and let's get that out. I love it. And put let's be the change. Come be the change. There we go. Come be change. No the. Come be change we get to see in the world. And it takes work. That's it. That's the meme. All right. I'd love if we could get this out today. Folks, this is Linda Bonner. She is part of the Spirit Artist Graphics Emporium. That's what she's put together with Joe Evans. We're figuring out what that means. I like make up stuff, that stuff exists, and then people build it for me because I'm in a living conversation of I say stuff and then it happens. It's fun. What we're doing with these 4 classes on a ritual level is I'm clearing and claiming safety for the entire planet. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm sowing my part of the seeds of safety for our global tribe. There are other people clearing and claiming other seeds that get planted. And we seem to be very aligned all over the place. It's fantastic. So if there's something that you guys want to know about, I'm really thinking about starting a group in Discord. This may be the first group in Discord, Linda, and I may need your or someone's, maybe Michelle Holmes, help me in Discord. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Linda. And folks, this is me living in this course that you see. I'm literally living the thing that I'm asking you to consider living into. I'm not just telling you about it. Linda is part of our scribe tribe on planet JWoW. I'm living this right here in this live video that's a class on safety for y'all. I feel so safe that I can say things and channel the things, and then they come through, and then there's a response, and then we hone it, and then it becomes a thing that you see, and you get to be here seeing what those roots are of the thing that you love right here out loud. I'm not doing it in a back room, because I want you guys to do this for yourselves. The more of you that are empowered in your sovereignty, the more safety we get when safety is defined as sovereign awareness for from everyone. It starts, thank you, it starts with sovereignty. Please come play with me. Please come and I will work. This is a pilot program. The pricing thing, it's going to be what it is. This is about the pricing. If I can get 20 or 30 of you, I will feel like here's what I really want. Let me tell you what I want. I want 43 of you. I want 43 of you to come play with me around safety, and we will generate something new that helps seed the global tribe. And then I'll get another 43 of you, and it will be this constantly rolling into an ever evolving safety that gets taken out to these conferences, these business conferences, these business conferences, and these gatherings, and all of these different things. And that happens out in the world. And what joins them is a safety where people are delighting in being accountable for themselves and each other. feeling good and great and successful and supported. If that happens, it's really hard to have a war when everyone feels that way. It's really hard to have any rape happen when everyone feels that way. I go by what are the results that we want. There's the milestones, and so the milestones to get to the deadline, the smile line. We get to cross that finish line, cross that Rubicon from a culture of consent with its empowered no to a culture of welcome with its enthusiastic yes. That's the good, the num, the yay that we get from generating a comprehensive and even possibly contiguous safety in whatever our culture is. This is the meta conversation that precedes the bog entry level, level 1, dust level root camp that's happening on May 24th around what safety is, how to live it, what the tools are, and what is it that we can take into all of our environments and at least have a shot at building more and more safety for ourselves and hopefully for the people who are directly around us. Some of it is awareness. Some of it is bringing our confidence. Some of it is our capacity to build structures that allow for reciproconomic flow of energy. The for from. Some of it is our awareness, our ability to hold massive swaths of body, mind, heart, spirit, energetic space for people so that there can be a whole lot of everyone who's aligned with us. Nothing is that I can think of is for everyone, not even air. And it doesn't mean that someone can survive without some of the things that we're all aligned, to which we're all aligned. So we're going to figure out what the alignment is, or an alignment, and not absolutist, an alignment around safety. What I'm doing, the Liwi languaging, instead of teaching a class in it, watch my videos. In everything I do, I'm simply living the languaging. And you can pay attention and learn. Instead of saying just, you'll hear me say simply, because just has a shaming apology to it. I just want to do, you even do your shoulder, I just want to do, simply is, this is simply what's true. And there's a confidence to that. There's a claration to that. There's a clearing and claiming. That's part of safety too. Your rage is part of how you create safety. Ask anybody, any mother bear. Okay? What you bring, I used to bring rage to create safety. I just clear a space. I'm like, I will kill you all if you screw with my beloveds. That's also got somewhat safety. And in some environments, that's exactly what you need. You don't want that at your PTA meeting. You also don't want the head of the PTA, unless they're, mixed martial artist and a trained killer at the borders of, some sort of, Venezuelan conflict where you're trying to save an orphanage full of kids. Unless, of course, they go completely postal and the adrenaline hits and then they're picking cars up off of kids who are in trouble. I mean, that's a whole other thing. It's about context and applicability, relevance. All of these are considerations and factors that go into discovering what safety is. That's why this free thing, it both helps and it's to let you know there's so much complexity that is easily accessed. You guys are already living the complexity. It's just that you have not, it's simply that you have not allowed yourself to revel in your greatness around living the complexity. You're like, hey, it's simply what I do. People say, oh, that's just what I do. When in fact, it's a magnificent thing. That doesn't work for me. I will compliment you until you stop doing that shit. You get to revel in being a badass. You get to revel in it. The reveling is part of being able to generate the safety. The bragging about who you are is part of being able, when your bragging stands for being real about goodness and greatness. Like, that's a course that I'm working on. That's when it gets to be fun, because that's not about being arrogant. That's not about being the, president of North Korea, who's scared and so is fear biting the world. If you threaten me, then I will kill you. So I'll kill you, my cousin, my brother, my whatever. That's fear. That's not, it's power. The ability to influence that which is not our business. You just ended somebody's life. That's some influence. That doesn't make you empowering or empowered. It simply means that you have power. You get to have the power to be a bully. You're scared. You don't have the courage or the spine to enter into a relationship, a real relationship where both of you have sovereignty and you figure out things together. I'm going to have a safety course about that. If you simply want someone to give you some answer, to hand you some simple formula that ultimately winds up being simplistic and not applicable in as many places, that's great, because sometimes that's all people can handle. I'm a whole lot. I'm not for everyone. I'm not looking to be for everyone. That's why I say I want to work with 43 people to start in this pilot program, because I'm writing a legend. I want to write a legend that 43 came, that love came to the safety course, because 4-3 stands for love you. It's from 143. I, 1 letter, love, 4 letters, you, 3 letters. The 143rd lighthouse in America is in Maine, and it's called the I Love You Lighthouse. It's not just something I'm making up. 143. It's great. That 143 then becomes 243. We love you. It's my game. So I tend to charge 243 for things so that when I look down my PayPal, everybody else sees 250. They're like, you could charge more money. I'm like, why would I pass up looking down my PayPal and seeing, we love you, we love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. All you got is money. I got love in a money suit. I'll take mine any day. I'll take mine any day. Right? It's a game. I want 43 of you to come play with me and pay the whatever it is I wind up charging. It'll be on my site. Please check it out tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 11:43. Oh, this is fun. This is how safe you guys have made me feel, even as I'm teaching you about the safety course, because I'm living it. So now I'm living into the fun part of the legend. So at 11:43 tomorrow, please let everyone know I'm going to reveal my page for my safety course. I would love for 43 people to be ready to sign up. Bring your door wallets. I don't mind that you have a wall. That's fine, to protect your, finances. This is an exchange. So let's make it a door. So it's a door wallet. All right. 11:43. Check the website to register for the safety course. Exactly. And Linda, please help. Hey, Rainy. Please help people know. I'm doing a thing. Rainy, it's fun. It's 1400. I hope y'all get how wonderful it is. I'm going to take a couple minutes to say thank you. I got to live into having a horrifying multiples episode happen yesterday that had me dissociate for hours to the point where I didn't know it. I thought I was fine. That's how out I was. And I've built a world where I get to come to a class on safety and say the next day, I had an episode that took me so out that I forgot that I forgot to teach a class on safety. And so we're going to build a normalization of, okay, that's only happened a few times in our life, and I'm a multiple, and I'm growing like crazy. And you guys got to witness, and I got to show you what it means to build safety into your world. So it's okay. So that I'm here, and there are folks here on the day that I didn't say that I was going to have the class, because y'all see that I'm having the class to the best of my ability. It's just not in linear time, normal linear time, and it's only 24 hours off. And that gets to be a thing. And on my end, I work to have things in place so that doesn't happen. And I'm learning what those things are, and then I'm putting them in place. This is how we build safety into our lives so that we can live into it and we can be models of it for others. If you want to learn about that, if you want to learn about that kind of rooted, sustainable safety, come play with me, please. I will reveal the web page that LJ built, right? That beloveds help me. Shit does happen. Sacred, healthy, intimate teaching happens. That's going to be, Linda, thank you for reminding me of my own lesson. I did apologize because I know that, people took the time to show up, yesterday, et cetera, you being one of them. Oh, teachings with 2 G's. That puts the goodness and greatness into the teachings. Oh, I just love that so much. If that was accidental, fine. And I hope that was deliberate. That's just yummy. That goes right back to the bragging. There'll be 2 G's all over the place. My 2G trumps your 5G anytime, because the 2G is the G's of goodness and greatness. All you got is some sort of frequency stuff. Now you can use your 5G to boost my 2G. Oh, I'm so using this. I'm practicing. This is the first time I've ever said this, y'all. Right here. There is safety with the global tribe. This is not your typical course. I'm JWoW of Planet JWoW, and this is the 4th class in a safety course that gets real in real time about how to live into safety and what the meta conversation needs to be, so that at an energetic level, we build the safeties that create physical safety for selves and others. That's what we're doing. So I'll see some of you on the 24th, hopefully 43 of you, once it's filled up, I'm going to start a standby list for the next 24, but the next 43. And if that fills up, I will turn right around and I will build out immediately another course. I will do it up to 3 courses that I will teach in a week. So we could get 129 of y'all that I'm teaching all at the same time. Do I want to write that legend? You bet I do. Can y'all help me do that? Absolutely. You know how to help share safety into your worlds? Please share the safety that I'm teaching from my world to yours. Let's build that bridge and build it out into your world and let people know to show up. And I'm also going to set it up so that those of you who are bringing a bunch of people, be my 44th person. Come for free. If you're bringing enough people so that gets filled out, I'd love to treat you to that as a bonus. Right? I want you to pay for it by investing in your own future, by investing in your people, by inviting them and having them come. Stand in knowing that this is going to help them and help you while I'm helping myself with y'all, so that you learn about safeties that you can create everywhere. We get to do that. We get to do that together. So I'm inviting you to come play with me. It's going to be fun. I want to thank you for your time here, and thank you for coming to the other 3. Please go back and look if you haven't seen them yet. Please do the sequencing more than once. Take notes. I would love to get notes from you guys on the actual, see you taking notes literally, and then we can aggregate that just like Scribe Tribe does. Linda and Jerry Littlejohn and Rainey do that wonderfully, and they build that out. I would love to see folks living into lessons here. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to take a few more minutes because I want to announce something that came out of the terror of yesterday. So those of you who want to stay, those of you who came for the safety class, thank you. This is my life. I simply set do you see my apology? I really hate that. I set my alarms and I put it on my calendar, and then I live it. Okay, so I'm going to stay on for a little bit and tell y'all a little bit about what happened with me as a multiple yesterday and how it is that I'm building the safety into right now. And I need to make sure that I'm not missing some other meeting. Okay, see, I'm learning how to do this. All right, so that's going to come up, and yes, I am. So I'm going to do this quickly. Yesterday, I came to the edge. I went to the notness of safety and discovered that I've built in incredible safety so that I could come back. And so that's what I'm doing. And I want to show so many of you who come and play the game with me how to do that step by step at a baseline dust level. We're going to cover a lot of material in 4 sessions, 4-hour-and-a-half sessions, and talk a lot. And then there'll be questions in the chat, unless we can do it on Zoom. My preference would be to do it on Zoom or do it streaming. So invite y'all to StreamYard or Streamlabs and have you be on. Have all 43 of you be on. If you're not willing to have your camera on for that, that's not going to work because we're building a circle. We're building a living, breathing circle. I won't be able to see all of you. Hopefully there will be paladins who will be able to see that everyone is present and also watching. We'll have, I hope, a room where if things get really intense, someone can at least just like get a quick side room, talk, or make arrangements to do that with someone that we've got on while I'm doing classes. It is my hope that I will take you to your edges. So if you get triggered, go you. You're that courageous to go to your edges and pass them so that you can grow even greater. Good job. I want that to be what happens in classes where they're living, breathing things, where no one's sitting back, where everyone's leaning in, where everyone's learning. I want that to be true. Let's build that. Why not? Okay. So now I'm going to go to the other class that I'm building, which is a business class. It's a business calibration clinic. I'm working with a guy who makes multi-million-dollar companies to weave in what we're doing with Planet JWoW. We're literally about a month, maybe a month and a half away from being able to announce it. I won't say that. I'll say 2 months. I'm making it up right now. I'll say 2 months. And then we're going to be able to help people build their business so that they're lucrative and feed their souls in the process. When it feels good to do good, you do more good. We're doing it, folks. This is how we build a safety. When I say be the change, be that change, whatever I said that quote was, this is how I'm living it. Please live it your way. I want to thank you for your time with me, the investment in yourself of your time with me, us. It's a pleasure and a privilege to get to do this. I'm JWoW of Planet JWoW, and we are a tribe-sourced Huvan. This is our legend that we're building together, sweet ones. Thank you so much for letting it be about safety this time, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, take care. We're sticking to the legend. All right, bye-bye now.